welcome to Ralphie Davis Stadium, where the UW Platteville Pioneers will be taking on the UW Oshkosh Titans in a ball game that is said to be pretty impressive, with Oshkosh coming in with an undefeated 3-0 record, 2-0 in the conference. Brian Dallin here along with Tim King. Tim, Pioneers coming off loss against La Crosse last week by the score of 14-12. And Oshkosh coming in with a pretty big victory over Stell. What do you expect from the Pioneers tonight?
Well, I expect the Pioneers to rush the passer, which we're going to have a substitute quarterback tonight. We're going to have Kurt Miller, a 6'4 junior from Chicago, be the starting quarterback for Oshkosh because Greg DePachter developed a shoulder problem during the beginning of the week. DePachter, one of the top quarterbacks in the WSUC. Platteville defense has been great against the run. They're going to be facing a tremendous running back tonight in Chris Kujawa from Greenfield. So, Brian, I expect the Pioneers to rush the quarterback and do a lot more.
Pioneers, as we said, are coming in off their loss 14-12. Coming in with their loss to La Crosse 14-12. Defense played exceptionally well, Tim. They stopped the Titans, they stopped the Eagles on many occasions on 3rd and 4th down with interceptions, with a sack, with some sort of some big defensive play. And that's what I think we're going to have to see tonight.
Well, you know, the Pioneer defense really came out well against the pass last week against a very tough Dennis Gadel of UW La Crosse. They did stop the running play of the Eagles, and that's going to be a tough thing tonight because Kujawa is a big rusher for these Titans. And Kujawa, of course, among the tops of the WSCC in rushing as well as in pass receiving for these Titans. But the big story tonight, obviously, is the loss of Greg DePachter. He might be able to play if needed, but it's going to be a very tough time for the Oshkosh Titans. But they are undefeated, and Coach Ron Cardle, this is the furthest he's gone undefeated as a head coach in the WSCC, and there's a lot of pressure on Mr. Cardle to do well.
Well, the coaches for tonight's ballgame, as you said, Ron Cardo, he's in his 8th season with the Titans, sporting a 29-38-4 mark. Cardo is 3-4 against the Pioneers, where head coach George Christ is in his 13th season with the Pioneers. Christ is second on the Pioneer all-time coaching wins list with his overall record of 69-55-1. Series between the Oshkosh Titans and Platteville is tied at 35-35 and 5 ties. Titans defeated the Pioneers 10-7 in the series opener in 1913. Pioneers have won the last 2 ball games, 31-21 last year in Oshkosh and 49-19 in 1989. Last time these two teams met, Pioneers exploded for 24 second quarter points to erase a 14-0 deficit en route to a 31-21 win at Oshkosh last season. UWP amassed 464 yards of total offense, including 278 yards rushing. Greg DePachter, last year a freshman for the Titans, completed only 7 passes for Oshkosh and had 3 interceptions, 2 by a now graduated Barry Bagans. Tim, another thing to be looking for Pioneers, they will not be having Randy Hughes for the rest of the season. Hughes had injured his knee in the first quarter against La Crosse, and that's going to be a tough break for Platteville, even though they have a very good core of running backs behind them, but this deplenishes them by 1, and especially Hughes being in his senior season for Platteville.
Well, plus Hughes can rush the ball, as you said, but he's a tremendous pass receiver, too. He's good for those little 5 to 10-yard flat passes that Eric Wixom likes to throw, as we see the Pioneers about to kick off here with Eric Shaharsky.
And as the ball goes out of bounds, Titans can't decide if they want to take the ball where it's spotted or have the ball kicked over again. And the Titans have elected to have Eric Sarkowski kick over.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see, Brian, whether or not the Pioneers like to blitz a lot against this new quarterback here in Chris Miller for Oshkosh. We'll have to see if maybe a Jeff Keeter or a Mike Vanoy will have a tremendous day, because those two really had a Dennis Gadel going around in circles last week. So we'll have to see whether or not Keeter and Vanoy have a big night tonight.
Well, that's one thing. The Pioneers do have a pretty good uh, defense is on the line. They have a lot of quickness, a lot of speed there on the line with Kenny Nice, Mike Minell, Jeff Cuter, and Dave Albert. Plus, they have a decent linebacking core where it's Mark Lenner and Todd Karch. As Mike Fossum takes it up all the way out to the 17-yard line, tackle made by Tim Renke, leading it for the Pioneers.
Well, Fossum is a quality back, quality returner for these Oshkosh Titans. He's capable of breaking anything from a punt to a kickoff. And we get our first check here of Kurt Miller, who, as you said, is taking over for DePacker, who has a sore shoulder. So we'll have to see how this youngster does. He's not a youngster, he's a junior, but he's still a new quarterback for these Titans.
Miller's a 6'4", 210-pound junior out of Chicago, Illinois. And on the first play, number 34, Ed Ganewick, taking the first carry for the Titans. A little help from the Oshkosh fans here as crowd begins to start rolling in here, Ralphie Davis Stadium. It's Student Appreciation Night, Tim, and after tonight's ball game, many of these students probably will stick around for that, because there'll be a lot of prizes to be given away, including an airline ticket, a couple color TVs, VCR, CDs, many different prizes. So it's going to be a pretty big, pretty big crowd for tonight's ball game. 5 yards pickup on the play. It's 2nd and 5. And Ganewick takes the ball again. Ganewick, 5'7", 195-pound freshman out of Oregon, Wisconsin. Picked up 1 on the play. It'll be now 3rd and 4.
Well, as you said, Brian, we'll have to see whether or not the Pioneers will blitz a lot on the young Miller, the quarterback.
It's 3rd and 4. Ball on the 22. Miller back to pass, play fake, and he's sacked right away by Jeff Cuter. Cuter picking up his 7th sack of the year.
Well, as we said, the youngster Owen and Jeff Cuter and Vanoy, especially the two outside rushing linemen for the Pioneers, they've had sack career days so far. And once again, we saw Cuter with the big sack, and he's been, without a doubt, the most valuable Pioneer defender this year, up to this date.
Well, that's one thing, Tim. The defense has been coming through in and out all year long. And talking to a few of the players, they had mentioned that they're going to have to stop just about everything, as Mark Lenner almost blocked the punt. Eric Wynn didn't know where it was. And the Titans will touch down at the 47-yard line, as Eric Wixom will now lead the Pioneer Corps on their first possession of today's game.
Well, we're going to have to see now, Brian, whether or not Eric Wixom can be effective in the first quarter. He's been effective in the second, third, and especially fourth quarters, but the Pioneers this year have really been stagnant in the first quarter, and especially when they've gotten down in the so-called red zone inside the 20s, they've been unable to really do anything, to say the least.
This is going to be a big possession for the Pioneers. They have to start it out right away and basically get the momentum and get this crowd into today's ball game. And they're going to have to do it by punching it in, not just getting inside the 20 and settling for a field goal possibility, but have to get in for the touchdown. As Dave Fisher takes the ball, he's all the way out to the 49, down at the 50-yard line. Fisher usually doesn't see that much action running the ball, only 5 carries for 17 yards, takes it right away for the Pioneers.
Well, Fisher's a little spark plug, and he's going to be seen more into the offense now since Hughes is out with that knee injury. And Fisher, you know, is a local product from Dickeyville, so he's going to have to really perform well for these Pioneers, as we're also probably going to see a lot of Rob Del Santo tonight, too.
Yes, another thing about Del Santo last week, 98 yards for the Pioneers. A big chunk of that coming in the second half as Eric Wixom doesn't like what he sees and will call a timeout for the Pioneers.
Well, Wixom that time saw some trouble in the coverage, and also the Pioneers were a little bit confused coming up to the line of scrimmage with the stagger and that young offensive line. As, of course, we'll keep you abreast of any WSUC scores that are out there. Of course, most of them, except the Whitewater-Stevens Point game, are going on at this very same time. So hopefully we'll have some scores. Of course, the Badgers won 21-6, excuse me, today. So, and these Oshkosh Titans, I tell you, if they win tonight, if they can beat the Pioneers tonight, they will be a legit shot to win the championship.
Well, Tim, with our electronic mail service, boom, we got the scores right here from today's ball game. Take a look at the upset of the day. It has to be at Menominee, Wisconsin, where UW Stout beat the Eau Claire Blue Goals 40-20. Rich Vargas collecting 220 yards rushing and 4 TDs. Big game for Vargas. Has to be in contention for the MVP for the WSUC. Also taking a look at way up in Superior. Last week, Superior beat Whitewater on a last-second field goal, 16-14. Well, today they were put back in their place by the La Crosse Eagles, who went up there and literally annihilated them, 58-7. And as you said, Tim, Whitewater playing Stevens Point tonight, and we don't have a score. Oh, yes, we do. The score just came in. UW River Falls beating St. Ambrose 25-22. Big game around the WSUC, but right now, Titans and the Pioneers.
Well, let's see if Wixom can help his own cause here by driving the Pioneers down for a score. They got good field position here at the 50 on second down, and talk about that lacrosse score. That just shows you how good the Pioneer defense played against Dennis Gadel last week. They were unable to really mount anything against the Pioneers, and of course that so-called touchdown they got off the block. But I was kind of the goofy one. I had Superior to upset lacrosse, but
that might be asking a little bit too much, Tim. I mean, they beat Whitewater.
I guess, as I say, no dice.
We have second down and 7, ball at the 50-yard line. Joe Obenetter starting in place of the injured Ron Hayes is Wixom now rolling out to his right side. Throws it around, and reception made by number 89, Rod Johnson. Johnson last week didn't catch a pass at all. The week before, he catches 8 against Whitewater. Do you think Coach Chris is deciding to go back with using his tight ends more often against the Titans?
Well, they've been open every time that they've wanted to go down the field, no matter if it's in game 1 against Carleton or against La Crosse last week. And Johnson is a big target along with Rundy, so I think the Pioneers can help their cause by throwing to the tight end more. That relieves the wide receivers on the outside.
As Del Santo on the carry picks up approximately 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 8. As we said, Tim, Del Santo carrying the load for the Pioneers last week against La Crosse. For the most part, they had run him 3, 4, or 5 times in a row. And that caused a lot of problems for the Eagles because they really hadn't seen Del Santo because he hadn't played that much.
No, he's the type of back that really, when you look at him, doesn't look like a slasher running back, but he's quite a running back, and he's a good find for George Christ.
As Wixom rolling out to his right side, has some time, looking down, fires it all the way, intended for number 13, Russ Jakes. Falls incomplete. It'll now be 3rd down. Jakes, big game last week, catching 5 passes for the Pioneers.
Well, that was a good play there by Wixom. He rolled out like he will do practically on every play, probably about 95% of the time. And he saw Jakes down there. Jakes almost with a tremendous sliding catch, but that showed a good arm there by Wixom, and some really different plays so far that we've seen from the Pioneers and not the predictability of last week.
Well, Wixom did not have a career game last week, completing only 17 of 41 passes, and as we said, 5 of them going to wideout freshman Russ Jakes. Wixom now quickly back to pass. Looking, has some time, fires it long to a wide open Tom Steger for the touchdown.
What a play there by Wixom. He spotted Steger all the way. Steger was at least 5 to 7 yards behind the defender, who was number 8, I believe, Rick Grable. And what a passer by Wixom. That showed the arm right there. The first time the Pioneers have scored in the first quarter on a good team this year, and look for some good things to happen.
That's also Eric Wixom's first TD pass in the WSUC this year. He had 3 against Carleton College, first game of the season, had nothing against Whitewater or La Crosse, finds Tom Stager open for the 39-yard TD bomb. Stager wide open on that play, beat his man. Wixom had the ball up in the air and found it right on the dot.
Well, that's one good thing about Eric Wixom is that he can throw the long bomb. He might be the only one in the conference that can throw a ball 40 or 50-plus yards in the air. Stager that time, who is a pretty fast back for his size and has tremendous hands, that time burned the Oshkosh Titan defender for the TD.
Another thing we have to mention, the offensive line gave Wixom a lot of time. He was sitting back there for at least 4 to 5 seconds, which is really a lot of time for a quarterback to sit back and look and see what's open out there. And they're going against the Titans defensive line, which is pretty big, coming in at 250, 260.
Well, especially since Wixom is not a mobile quarterback.
As Jason Waugh attempts the extra point, gets it up and good. Pioneers strike first with a 39-yard TD touchdown from Wixom to Stager. Score now 7-0 at the 10:55 mark of the first quarter. That's what we wanted to see, Tim. Pioneers just getting that quick score, getting up. Now they have the lead. Not saying that they can rest on their laurels, but it gives the offense some confidence when they go out there now that they can put the ball in the end zone.
Well, it gives the defense also a chip on their back. More or less, the defense can go to the sidelines and say, look, we don't have to look at the clock and say, well, a minute and a half gone, we better get back on the field again. The defense can get back to the bench, rest, and the offense can do their job. And under a wing tee type of situation, it's an offensive formation for the offense. And head coach George Chris that time really with a tremendous play, that deep bomb to Stager for the TD. And Jason Waugh with an authoritative kick on the extra point.
As Mike Heberlink takes it out to the 38-yard line. And the Pioneers defense will be coming out again. Defense has to feel good that they stopped the Titans on 3 downs, made them punt, and the Pioneers capitalized on the good field position to put it in the end zone.
That's true. However, we really didn't see Chris Kujawa in that first series of downs, and that'll be the key. The key, I believe, in this. I think Coach Ron Carlo for Oshkosh will try to get Kujawa into the game and try to get this young quarterback or inexperienced quarterback, Kurt Miller, some good playing time here.
Well, Kujawa sat out last week's game against Stout, and Jason Tarkowski took his place, picking up 149 yards. As has Ganaywick carrying the load right now for the Titans, picking up approximately 5 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Well, we see Kujawa on the sidelines. I don't know if he's hurt. We didn't hear anything in the pregame information packets to say that, but so far the Titans have done pretty good at the rushing game without Kujawa.
Pick up of 6. It's now 2nd and 4. Fossum and Kaufman wide out. And Ganaywick carrying it again for the first down. Todd Karch on the tackle for the Pioneers. Karch, big game last week on a 4th down play near the end of the ball game. 4th and 1, breaks through the line untouched and nailed the Eagles running back for a big loss. Pioneers couldn't capitalize for a score on that, but still, nonetheless, that just shows the type of defense Pioneers have.
Well, Karch and the Platteville defense, they really don't have one standout defender out there. They all have to work as a team, and he's just one of the many cogs, I guess, in the machine.
1st and 10, ball on the 49. Handoff goes to Ganaywick again. Ganaywick picks up 3. Karch again on the play. Karch leading tackler for the Pioneers, as I said earlier. Well, teaming up with Mark Lanier, one of the senior tri-captains for the Platteville Pioneers.
Well, Karch, one of the many veterans on that team, I guess, defensive squad, and he's taken it upon himself to make this Pioneer defense the best in the conference.
It's now 2nd and 8. Miller hands off to Ganaywick again. Ganaywick will pick up about 3 on the play. It'll be third down. The wide receivers here for Oshkosh, Scott Kaufman, Mike Fossum, they're going to have some pretty big shoes to fill coming into this season with Rob Nita graduating. Nita, the MVP for the WSUC last season.
Well, Rob Nether, of course, was drafted, or not drafted, was picked up by the Packers, and he really burned the Pioneers last year at Titan Stadium for a couple of long scores. But he's gone, and well, new quarterback, and so far, Miller, is doing pretty well for the Oshkosh Titans.
Well, when you have Ed Ganuick to hand the ball off to, Ganuick basically taking charge for the Titans as Miller quickly back to pass, feeling the pressure, gets it off to Ganuick, open on the left side as he's knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Pickup of 17 on the play. Big third down for the Titans, and Miller to Ganuick. Ganuick's been all Oshkosh right now.
Well, Ganuick is, I guess, taking Chris Kujawa's spot. He's just been a terror on the field so far. He's just doing everything, rushing the ball for good yardage, passing that time. He's not that big. He's only 5'7", 195 pounds from Oregon, so I'm sure Coach George Chris knew about this guy in high school.
Now 1st and 10, ball on the 30. Hand off to Ganuick again. He breaks through the line. And Greg Franzen on the tackle, pick up a 4 on the play.
Well, Ganuick, if you follow high school football at all, especially in the Fox Valley region, Ganuick looks like a sure back for, let's say, a Manitowoc High School. I mean, a small back, but he's fast, and he's got powerful thighs that help him out, Brian. And I tell you, Ganuick is so far the MVP for the Titans.
That's a pretty bold statement to make with 7:42 left in the first quarter, Tim. But we'll wait and see to the end of the ball game. 2nd and 6, ball on the 26. As Miller to Ganuick. Ganuick breaking out to the left side, flags on the play as Jeff Cuter on the tackle.
Well, we might have a holding call here on the Titans.
And the call is holding against the Titans, as you called it, Tim.
Well, the Titans really don't go to the tight end as much as the Pioneers have gone this season. And Pat Lane is their starting TE, I should say, at 6'6", from Bartlett, Illinois. And along with Rhodey and Mitchell, expect those three not to get the ball a lot tonight because they just don't throw to them. They rely on Kujawa and now Kunetic to do most of their rushing and pass receiving.
To go along with that, the leading scorer for the Titans is their quarterback, Greg DePachter, or at least their starting quarterback, not for tonight's ball game, as you said, with 3 rushing touchdowns for the Titans. It's now 2nd and 16. As Miller back to pass, draw play to Ganuick. Ganuick on his feet all the way down to the 20-yard line and tackled out of bounds by Greg Franzen. Great call by Ron Cardo and the Titans to call the draw play.
Well, a little Statue of Liberty play that they ran there. They suckered the entire Pioneer line and linebackers up into Miller that time. He was looking for the Pioneers were looking for him to throw the pass, but Ganuick got the call. And as I said, he's been the MVP so far for the Oshkosh.
Well, Ganuick picked up enough on the play, 16 yards and first down for the Titans. As Oshkosh marching down the field in search of the first score in tonight's ball game. 1st and 10, ball on the 19. Handoff to Ganuick. Falls on his lineman, tripped up, possibly 1 yard in the game. Looks more like none. Be 2nd down. As Lenhier on the tackle for the Pioneers.
Well, the Pioneers are really almost impossible to run up the gut against Kenny Nice. And as we see Kujawa into the lineup here, we might see a pass play here, but the Pioneers are absolutely invincible up the nose tackle way.
Well, Kurt Miller having a little difficulties as he looked at the Pioneers defense. Called timeout for the Titans at the 6:25 mark of the first quarter as we take a look at Ron Cardo talking to his young QB, Kurt Miller.
Well, Miller has got a lot of weight, I guess, on his shoulders because of DePachter not playing, but we see DePachter on the sidelines there. Of course, we haven't seen him practice or throw any balls, so we don't know how badly injured the shoulder is. But an interesting fact about DePoctor is that they expect him to play this to be DePoctor's last year as quarterbacking for the Oshkosh Titans because, of course, he is a tremendous baseball player for Oshkosh. He was drafted by a Major League Baseball team, and it is expected that he's going to adios school at the end of this year to go into the professional baseball ranks.
That's something to look at, especially when you're a two-sport athlete. I don't think DePoctor's any Deion Sanders out there, but, you know, he could have a possibility, probably a better possibility at making it in the major leagues than he would in the NFL.
Well, with that Oshkosh Titan baseball program, anything is possible.
2nd and 10, ball on the 19. Misdirection handoff. Goes number 25, Mark Reimer. And Reimer taking it all the way down to the 1-yard line. Good call by Cardo again, faking the handoff to Kajawa, giving it to Reimer on the other side. And Reimer had a lot of open area to run through, getting it all the way down to the 1-yard line.
Well, they are definitely working on the Pioneer right defensive side of the ball. Kinetic along with Reimer that time, and they've found all sorts of information and yardage there. And look for them to run towards Keeter as well as Shaharsky on the right side there.
1st and goal. Kajawa with the ball, and he stopped at the line by the defensive line of the Pioneers. That's one thing, the Pioneers have been pretty tough inside the 20, stuffing up a lot of running plays, at least coming straight up the line. When it comes around the end, that's a little bit more difficult as for any team to really stop.
Well, as you saw, Chris Kujawa there kind of flexing his arm, and that's been part of the problem for him. But let's see if they give it to Gennadic, who's really had some success so far for the Titans.
Now 2nd and goal. As Gennadic takes it and stopped right away. Number 51, Bruce Feige on the play. Great instinct by Feige to get across the line and get Gennadic's leg before he can drive ahead for the touchdown.
Well, as we discussed in a couple other plays beforehand, Brian, the Pioneers up the middle are, as I said, just practically impossible to run on. Feige that time doing a tremendous job getting under the stack and stopping Gennadic.
Now 3rd and 1. Pioneer defense looking to stop again. I'm looking at pass. I'm looking at pass to possibly Fossum or to Kaufman on this play. Rowland in motion. Handoff goes to Gennadic, and he breaks across.
And they stopped him.
And they stopped him again.
This
puts Cardo in a difficult situation. I mean, of course they're going to go for it, but I'm saying, do you run or do you pass? The run had been working very well for them to march all the way down the field, but on 3 straight running plays, they've been stopped.
Well, they've been stopped, and most importantly, a flag was on the play, and they might have waved off the flag, but as we see, the flag is on the 3-yard line there. And apparently, we don't know what the call was. I think they might have waved off the flag as they did. It's going to be 4th down and a yard here for Oshkosh. And look for them to go in the airwaves or possibly Gennadic on the right side here.
As Titan fans beginning to stop their feet, Tim, I can't hear anything over this boisterous Titan crowd. But it's 4th and 1. Scott Kaufman and Mike Fossum. Wide out for the Titans. Miller, hand off to Gennadic. And he's stopped. The defense held them at the 1-yard line. Great play by the Pioneer defense to stuff the Titans at the line on 4 straight plays. That just shows you this defense is one of the best in the conference.
Well, best in the country, I feel. This defense really stuck it to the Titans that time. And again, they tried to run up the middle. And as we've been saying, it's very tough to run right up on Kenny Nice's face, you might say. And the Titans, or the Pioneers that time, really doing a good job. The Titans, I guess, go to the well too long, or too often, I should say.
Well, the running game had been working for the Titans, but this Pioneer defense is 2nd in the conference with rushing yards allowed, holding them under 100 yards a game. As Wixom on the quarterback sneak right away up the middle, And Wixom picks up about 5 on the play. Good call by Coach Chris. Why put yourself in jeopardy or getting stopped for a safety like we had seen the Pioneer defense stopping Dennis Gato last week against Lacrosse? Just take the ball with Wixom and just have him run it ahead.
Well, you want room for him though to roll out as he likes to do on the offense. So that gives him a chance to roll out. Plus, they're on the far side of the field, which means he's got practically 20 yards towards our side of the field to work.
Pickup of 3 on the play. It's 2nd and 7. Handoff goes to Stager. Stager, a lot of open field. And he gets out to the 10-yard line. A pickup of 6. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Well, as we said, Wixom in the offense had plenty of yards to run towards the near hash marks. And Stager that time, he was one tackler away from going all the way, and he's got speed.
Well, I remember 2 years ago, Stager's freshman year against this Oshkosh Titan team, he ran for 64 yards for a touchdown. The guy's got wheels.
Yes, he does.
3rd and 1, ball on the 10. Stager in motion. Handoff goes to Del Santo, and Del Santo picks up the first for the Pioneers.
Well, some rough yardage there for Del Santo. And Epps that time with the tackle for the Titans. .2:31 left here in the first quarter. A very kind of eerie sunset, you might say, here from Pioneer Stadium. At least we don't see the fog as of yet, a la last year.
You can at least see the field this time, Tim, as flags are on the play.
I think that was offsides against Oshkosh. Looked like they were blitzing 3 linemen that time, and maybe they were drawn up, but looks like an offsides against the Oshkosh Titans.
Well, that's one thing. Yep, it is offsides against Oshkosh. Wixom has done that all 3 games, all 4 games now this season. His cadence is one of the stronger ones in the conference where he can bark it out, and if you're not watching the ball, you're going to jump off sides, and he's done it many times this year.
Well, Wixom, we don't know, obviously, how he calls the plays, but he's been really doing a good job, and against some good defenses. I mean, last week against the Eagles of Lacrosse, he pulled them off a couple of times, and then against the Warhawks. So, that helps the offensive line as well, because that makes the defensive line unsure whether or not what count to go on, and it gives them the advantage.
Now 1st and 5, ball on the 16. Inside handoff to Rob Del Santo. Del Santo picks up 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 1, ball on the 20.
Well, as we see Coach Ron Cardle and the entire Titan offensive squad here on the bench for Oshkosh, he is not a happy camper, saying Ron Cardle is not too happy about what happened down the goal line there. And so far, the Pioneers milking the clock and doing a good job. They've dominated play so far, both offensively and defensively.
Well, as we're closing in under a minute here in the first quarter, it'll be 2nd and 1, ball on the 20. Handoff goes to Stager. Stager breaks through and picks up the first and more as he gets it out all the way to the 24-yard line. Pick up a 4 on the play.
Well, Stager that time bouncing off like a pinball, and he almost could have got some more yardage, but he was knocked off his feet there and got some good yardage for a first down.
Stager coming in with 98 yards on 24 carries and 1 TD, coming in the first ball game against Carlton. Last week, injured his foot. They thought it was possibly broken, but the results came out negative. As Del Santo takes it for the Pioneers. Flags on the play. And Del Santo, the one thing I like about this kid is he's got a lot of heart out there. He puts in the second effort. You know, his knees might be close to the ground, but not down. And he keeps the legs moving all the way and might pick up an extra yard or 2 by just the second effort.
Well, he's not a flashy back by any stretch of the imagination. And he uses that raw, I guess, well, that's the word I'm trying to think of. Just raw ability of him, or, you know, just to get up the field and his own belief, I guess. You might want to. There's another word, but I can't think of it right now, Brian. But his belief is just to try to get as much yardage as possible, and not try to be the Eric Dickerson or the show-off back and high step everything. So he's a good blue collar back.
Holding call on the play. It'll be 1st and 20. Opener spread out on the left side. Handoff goes to goes to Del Santo again. And it's at the end of the first quarter right now. The Pioneers with the 7-point lead over the Titans. That coming on a 39-yard touchdown pass from Eric Wixom to Tom Stager. I don't know, Tim, this first quarter has come and gone pretty quick. And basically that's because the Pioneer offense has just been using the clock to their advantage, running the ball a lot, and in their first possession, picking up the touchdown. But it's got to be the Pioneer defense that's putting them in this position, especially the goal line stand, 4 straight running plays by the Titans.
Well, the Pioneer defense just has to be loving it on the sidelines. I mean, they haven't had this much time off since practice, I guess, in the summertime. But the Pioneer offense is doing a good job, and plus it helps that Oshkosh drove really 70 yards and got nothing on the touchdown, or on the touchdown attempt. And so far, the Pioneer offense is meticulously chewing up yardage with Del Santo, along with Fisher, Wixom, and I think maybe that might be the game plan, to see if the nickel and dime the tight defense and then get a big one like they did in the first quarter with the Stager getting the touchdown pass.
And one big help has to be from that offensive line battling in the trenches, especially since Jeff Hall, the usual starting center, is out for today's ball game. Number 54, Jim Pfister, filling in as an interception made by number 59, Taurus Epps, as Wixom was looking for Russ Jakes on the play, and he finds Taurus Epps instead. And Epps taking it all the way down to the 26-yard line. Not a good play, of course, for the Pioneers.
Well, that was a make or break. I mean, if they were going to complete the pass, that could have gone for a touchdown. But Epps was right there, snap play there, and he got the interception. And luckily for the Pioneers, he didn't rumble all the way for the touchdown.
Titan offense quickly out there. Kurt Miller at the helm, hands it off to Ed Ganuick, and Ganuick picks up approximately 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Well, it just looks like they're going to go to Granodic all night long, make or break the Pioneer line, and that suits the Pioneers just fine because they've stopped them before up the middle. And once again, the Titans have only been successful on the outside part of the Pioneer defense.
Well, Ed Ganuick carrying the heavy load for the Titans as some of the boisterous and volatile Oshkosh Titan fans over to our left side, as Miller and Rollin a little screwed up on the play as pitch goes to Rollin as Rollin breaks to the middle, and Todd Karch there on the tackle for the Pioneers.
Well, Rollin must have did a good job because he got over to his H-back spot, the I-back, and got some good yardage, so maybe they made the proper adjustments there.
It's now 3rd and 1, ball on the 17 for the Titans. It's got to be difficult, though, for Miller. You're coming into a position, you're undefeated in the conference at 2-0, and you, of course, to stay in the thick of things in the SUC, you got to have, one. You can't lose more than 2 ball games here to win the conference.
Well, plus, the team is in first place, and he's got an awful lot of weight on his shoulders.
As Ganuick breaks it out to the left side, but Greg Franzen quickly out there to stop Ganuick. Picks up approximately a couple inches on the play. It'll be short. It'll be 3rd down.
Well, Franzen made me eat my words. I said the Titans would like to run outside. He did a tremendous job. Good shoestring tackle there to drag down the runner. And the Titans now, 4th down and 1. They're going to have to go for it, obviously. This is 4-down territory.
Well, the defense held them on the goal line. Let's see if they can do it again on 4th and 1. I think they're going to pass this time, Tim. 4th and 1, ball on the 17. Handoff to Ganuik. He breaks through and picks up the first down. They're still continuing with the run. I think it's been effective for them. That might also show it might show that they don't have enough confidence in Miller at quarterback.
Well, that especially. Well, plus that time, Ganuik went off again to the right side of the defense for Platteville. Apparently, the Titan scouts must have found something in the films to relinquish the fact that they are just going after that right side of the Pioneer. And plus, they got the whole right side here, or left side of the line to work with.
Ganuik picked up 4 on the play, and as Kelly Rowland breaks through the line, close to the goal line. Great run by Rowland. I mean, he got the first step on the defense, but the Titan offensive line had a big hole for him to break through.
Well, let's see now if Oshkosh can take advantage of the first and goal situation at the 2. Last time, of course, on the other side of the field, the Titans had a struggle in 4 plays, and I think they might have gotten maybe a yard down there. So they got 4 downs to get in here, and I'm sure Ron Carlo wants to get this time 7 points.
1st and goal at the 2. Hand up to Ganuik, and he stopped, but he picks up 1. It'll be down to the 1-yard line and 2nd down.
Again, the Titans and Ganuik running up the gut, up the middle against Platteville, and the Pioneers doing a good job, and they are about as close to a touchdown as you can get, as the nose of the football is not maybe a couple of centimeters from touching that end zone line.
Defense has to suck it up again on 2nd down. Rowland in motion. Long count. Ganuik breaking out to the right side and gets in for the touchdown. Not that we couldn't have called that, Tim, but Ganuik carrying the load today. It just shows you how effective this Titan offense is, especially on the ground.
Well, Ganuik that time, they had the entire near side of the field to work with. I mean, just like the Pioneers did with Steger on the other side. And Ganuik that time's got some good speed for being a little, I guess, butterball back, and he really got into the end zone there for the TD.
Matt Peterson with the extra point. And it's all tied up at 7 at the 11:01 mark of the 2nd quarter on Ed Ganuik. 1-yard run for the Titans. This Titan team, I mean, at running back, they have Chris Kajawa. Well, he gets injured. Jason Tarkowski takes over. He picked up the slack, getting 149 yards. Tarkowski's not even in the ball game. We haven't seen him in the ball game yet. And then you have Ed Ganuik come in right now carrying the big load for Oshkosh. They've got a lot of depth at the running back position.
Well, as you said many a times, running by commission, and Oshkosh has done that now. Platteville certainly does that every week, except now, with Hughes, that might put a little dent in the plan here, but Oshkosh that time was dominating the Pioneer defensive line and going all the way for the touchdown. So far, I'm sure Oshkosh has the total yardage in the game.
As Peterson kicks it off to Rob Howe. Howe breaking up the right side, still on his feet, and is tackled near the Pioneer sideline, bringing it out to the 38-yard line. Great running back by Howe. A lot of blockers ahead of him for the Pioneers.
Well, Howe let his blockers out in front do most of the work, and Howe just followed him and almost broke through the last seam there for the touchdown.
If Steger was not able to play in today's ball game, which of course he is, Rob Howe would be the guy that would be taking his place, and we haven't seen him in the backfield yet. As Del Santo on his feet, bringing it all the way, great second effort, all the way out to the 50-yard line. 12-yard run by Del Santo. That's what I like about the kid.
Well, he just powered his way through there. Didn't really have much blocking except for that initial hole he got, and he really tore off and got the first down near midfield.
Del Santo, a 6-foot, 195-pound freshman from Belvedere, Illinois. First and 10 at the 50. Jim Pfister snapping the ball for the Pioneers, playing in for Jeff Hall. As Del Santo with the carry.
Del Santo getting the bulk of the running plays so far today. And let's see if Wixom tries to go deep again as Staggers in there. Fisher goes out. That usually means a pass play or possibly a pass to Rod Johnson, the tight end.
Well, both the Pioneers and the Titans haven't been putting the ball in the air that much because both teams have been running the ball very effectively as Wixom rolling out to his left side, feeling the pressure, tosses it off, and is intercepted by number 32, Dustin Schumacher. That time Wixom felt the pressure. One of the Titan defensive linemen was in there, grabbed Wixom, about ready to throw him to the ground, and he decides to toss it off with 3 Titan defenders covering on that play. Not a very good pass. He should have probably eaten the ball, but that's second guessing it right now.
Exactly, but in my opinion, that was a terrible pass by Wixom. He should have, as you said, eaten, taken the sack. The Pioneers would have still had the ball, but as you said, we're armchair quarterbacks, and we can only speculate on certain things like that. As we take a look at number 6 there for UW Oshkosh, that's Nelson Thurman, a 6'1 senior from Oak Park, Illinois. The Titans doing a lot of recruiting, I guess, in the Chicagoland area. A lot of fighting Illini players there.
Now first and 10, ball on the 23. And the handoff goes to Rollin on the play. Pickup of 1, it's now 2nd and 9.
Rollin, along with Gnutik, getting most of the running plays so far here for Coach Ron Carlo's offense.
It'll be 2nd and 8.
The game winding down, Brian, fairly fast. We have already 9:20 left in the second quarter. All tied up 7-7.
Well, when you keep the ball moving on the ground, it's getting pretty cold here tonight, Tim. And it's been working effectively for both the Titan and the Pioneers. You want to keep it on the ground, you pick up more yardage, and also wear off a lot of time off this clock. I know both these teams want to get out of the cold and get into the heat. As whistles on the play.
Well, as you said, Brian, whistles are on the play. We do have, I guess, an illegal motion or a procedure call against Oshkosh, but temperatures are expected to be low 30s, upper 20s. That's frost possibility there, but I'm sure, obviously, you know, when you play in something like this, and when you play, you don't really feel it. You know, I mean, I guess the players can say thanks to the upper man up north or up in the sky there because the wind's not blowing. If the wind was blowing, it really would be cold, but it's not too bad right now.
As you said, Tim, no wind here as it's 2nd and 13 for the Titans. Ball on the 20-yard line. Miller decides to go back to pass, but draw play to Gnutik. Gnutik breaking out all the way to the 28-yard line. Pickup of 8 will be 3rd and 5. Great call again. The draw had worked the first time they did it. And Miller, great play action passer as we've seen tonight, as we were even fooled on the play when he went back quickly, sets up, hands off to Gnutik.
Well, Gnutik that time getting the ball, and as you said, a good play fake there by Miller, and so far it seems as if Ron Cardinal does not want Miller to throw the ball because he's had chances to throw the ball, and it's just Gnutik and Rollins have taken the charge for the Titans.
3rd and 5. Miller back to pass, feeling the rush by John Witt, and sacked by number 52, John Witt.
And I guess that's why he hasn't had a chance to pass, because remember the first time he went back to pass, Keeter got in his face and sacked him for a loss. That time, number 52 for Platteville, John Witt really sacked Miller, and the Titans going to have to punt. So far, 2 sacks for the Pioneer defense.
That's the 3rd time today on 3rd down and on 4th down when the Pioneers defense stops. The Titans on the goal line stand as Lee Phillips takes the punt, coming up on his left side. Phillips running east to west and is thrown out of bounds by number 50, Chris Campshire, a linebacker out of Green Bay.
Well, Lee Phillips that time ran parallel to where he got the ball was at the 47-yard line. He wasn't going to go anywhere, and really in that type of situation, you ought to go up the field as much as possible, get as much yardage, and give your offense what is now some good yardage at the 47.
Handoff goes to Stager. Stager breaking it up on the right side, has a big opening, and gets all the way down to the 41-yard line. A pickup of 12 on the play, but there's flags on the play as it's holding. Call against the Pioneers. Pioneers offensive line, pretty good. Haven't had too many penalties called against them, but that's the second holding call in the first half called against the offensive line.
Well, that time the guard, Pat Murphy, really stuck the Titan defender on the ground, and he's complaining the most, which probably means he's the guilty one. And that was a good game there by Steger. You saw the explosiveness of Steger. Once he got through the hole, he almost broke there for a touchdown.
Illegal use of the hand on the Pioneers.
It's now 1st and 20, ball on the 36, 7:06 left before halftime. Tie score at 7 between the Titans and the Pioneers.
Look for the tight end here possibly to get the ball. That'd be Johnson.
Handoff to Fisher into Stager. Stager on his feet gets it back up to the 47-yard line. A pickup of 9. It'll be 2nd and 11. Good play by the Pioneers. It worked this time.
Well, a good misdirection play. They gave the ball off to Fisher. It looked like a rollout to the near side here. And then he handed it off to Stager. And Stager again almost broke it. Almost like the same carbon type play that he ran the play before.
It looks like Stager's foot is not affecting him too much as he's pounding it left and right. As Wixom, handoff to Stager again. And he picks up maybe one on the play. It'll be 3rd down.
Stager tried to, again, break off another good run. So the Titan defense was there.
As we take a look at the injured player for the Titans, number 90, Mike Carver, defensive tackle out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Big boy at 255 pounds. Could hurt the defensive line for the Titans.
He's a big guy, as you said, from Milwaukee. And the Titans have recruited from the Milwaukee area in the past. Looks like possibly a cramp to his right shin or calf.
That's what this type of weather brings out there. You can be stressed out. You have to keep yourself warm and keep moving at all times. You're going to get those nice apple-sized knots in your calves, and they're very painful.
Well, you don't have the heat to loosen up the leg or the leg muscles or the arm muscles for that matter, and I believe that's just what that is. It's just a cramp.
As we have a delay of game called against the Pioneers, that'll knock them back 5 more yards. It'll be 3rd and 16. I don't know what happened on the play. There shouldn't have been a delay of game for the Pioneer offense. There's an injured player, of course, coming off for the Titans that should have given them enough time, but possibly they didn't know how much time they had left on the 30-second clock.
Well, that's just a mental mistake, and head coach George Chris doesn't like it. As you can see him on the far sidelines, he wants this play to work, and he wants it to work now.
Stager in motion as it's 3rd and 16. Wixom quickly back to pass, feeling the pressure, and he will go down and eat it. Sack made by number 53, Jeff Rowan, defensive tackle out of Bristol, Wisconsin. The Titans counter back now with a big 3rd down situation and come up with the sack.
Well, Rowan that time threw Wixom down like a bag of apples, and he really, Wixom didn't have a shot there. He's lucky he didn't get hurt because he, bulldogged there from the collar, but he kept the ball.
As Brian Cohn, punting for the first time for the Pioneers, gets a nice boot. Knocking Tom Petri all the way back as Petri gets it out to the 42-yard line. Great punt by Cone, who, for the most part, hasn't been having a very good year, only averaging 31 yards a punt.
Well, without doubt, Brian, that was Brian Cohn's, to have a flag on the play. That was Brian Cohn's best punt of the year by far. Because we have a flag against Oshkosh, I believe. Either that's a crack back block or possibly a clip.
We'd like to thank the following businesses for their gift donation for tonight's Student Appreciation Night. Here at Summerly Gifts, the UWP logo jacket from Western Wisconsin Sports, a $25 gift certificate from Thomas Brittany, two $50 gift certificates from Land.
As there's 4:34 left before halftime, we'll get this all figured out for you. As penalty was called against the Titans, that'll knock them 15 yards back all the way to the 16-yard line.
I think it might have been too many men on the field, as I believe that's the signal. I mean, I've never seen a signal like that before. It's got to be that. And, of course, we'll look it up in our trusty Pioneer program here.
As it's 1st and 10, ball on the 16. As Rollins breaks through the line all the way out to the 27-yard line, picks up the first down.
So Rollins was that time a couple of yards to break it all the way, as Rollins and the Oshkosh Titans continue to run the ball.
Ball on the 27, first down. As Miller hands it off to Rollins again, but Mike Vanoy quickly across the line to stop it for the Pioneers.
Well, Vanoy was there like a bullet out of a gun, and he stopped Rollins for a loss of possibly 2 yards.
Vanoy comes in with an unusual type of injury. Vanoy has an injured shoulder, but it's something that you can't have surgery on it to replace it, where it like pops and pops out, and you know you got to deal with it day to day, and it's very difficult, especially since this is a senior season for him. You know, he wants to stay as healthy as possible, and it's good that Coach Chris has him rotating in and out with his defensive lineman. As Miller, quick pass out to Rollins, but he stopped right away.
Todd Cart. Kleinhands that time with the tackle, and I tell you, as you said, Vanoy has that problem with his shoulder, and it's more mental than anything, because I mean, every time he goes to make a hit, I'm sure in the back of his mind he's wondering whether or not his shoulder's going to pop out or not. But that time, Kleinhans really made mincemeat of the Pioneer or the Titan ball player.
Well, Rollins probably didn't feel too well, especially since it's kind of cool out here, and when you feel a couple shoulder pads jamming into your chest, doesn't feel too good. As Miller back quickly, looking long, and blocked by Kenny Nice at the line. Kenny Nice almost looked like Jimmy Skywalker on that play, getting his big, bulky arms up to knock the ball down on a third down. Pioneer defense makes Titans punt.
I wonder if Bo Ryan saw that, because he could sure use Kenny Nice that time for a center. He really blocked that baby, and if he didn't have all the padding on his arms, he could have, maybe intercepted the ball, but Nice that time getting all of the pigskin.
As Lee Phillips is back, and Eric Wynn takes the punt. Wynn breaking up the middle, but nowhere to go. He'll be tackled down at the 43-yard line. Eric Wixom is going to have to get his 2-minute offense going, as there's 2:50 left, and he'll start from the 30-yard line.
Well, Wynn that time, trying to get as much yardage as possible. As the Pioneers now excellent field position at the 42. Let's see if they get the score here before the half and break this 7-7 deadlock.
Well, last week, Pioneers' only touchdown of the day came on the 2-minute offense, where Wixom making a number of passes, marching down the field, and Dave Fisher ending it with the touchdown. as they'll stay on the ground with Del Santo. No gain on the play. I think Coach Chris just wants to eat up the clock right now and not think, he's right now. I'd say that why make any errors? At why put Wixom in a pressure situation where right now there shouldn't be that much pressure at a 7-7 deadlock right now.
Well, that's true, but also you have to take a look. I mean, they have excellent field position at the 42-yard, 43-yard line now. You can't just waste it. It'd be different if they were down at the 10, but they're close to Titan territory.
Wixom rolling out to his left side. Has some time. He decided to run it as he runs towards the out of bounds. One of the Titan coaches knocked down on the play. He gets up and he's okay, and Wixom taking the ball himself all the way out to the 48-yard line. Pickup of 3 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 6.
Well, that time Wixom had shades of O.J. Simpson there, I guess, laying a shoulder on the defender. That time he laid it on the Titan coach.
It's now 3rd and 6, ball on the 43. Dave Fisher in motion. Wixom rolling out to his right side now. Feeling a little pressure, tosses it down into the ground to Del Santo. It'll be 4th down, and Cone will come in to punt.
Terrible pass there by Eric Wixom. He saw Del Santo. A bad decision by Del Santo because he was lining up where the 1st down was, and then he moved up to get the pass. Really a terrible play there for the Pioneers standpoint offensively. And now Cone's going to have a punt like he did last time.
As Petri back to receive it, Cone ready to kick. Cone gets a squibbler off his foot, and it takes a short bounce, and Miller will have to take it from the Titan 24 and march it with 1:49 left for the Titans.
Well, let's see if Coach Ron Cardle diverts from his all-running attack here for quarterback Kurt Miller. And let's see if Cardle decides to air it here. We have not seen Miller pass the ball a lot, or he might just want to go in halftime 7-7.
Well, the running game, as we said earlier, has been effective for both teams. I think that's what Cardle wants to do, is probably just wear down the clock, go into halftime with a 7-7 tie. Possibly there's enough time for them to get in field goal range. As Miller back to pass, draw play to Ganuik. Pioneers that time not fooled. Pickup of 2 on the play.
Ganuik that time, and Vinoy almost had him in the backfield there, and Ganuik strong enough to make it back to almost to the yard, or to the scrimmage line.
Kajawa on the carry for the Titans.
Bob Kujawa, as we said, is a powerful back, one of, if not the best backs in the WSUC. They've had some tremendous backs in the past, Brian, including Mark Matsky, who set all types of records, along with Rob Prime, as we alluded to earlier in the week.
That's right, I forgot, Tim. You attended Oshkosh for a couple of years before coming to Platteville. Has it 2nd and 10, and the whistles are blown. I didn't mean to bring up bad times for you, Tim.
Well, I just thought I'd bring that information to our broadcast here. I know that you have some hard times as a high school football player.
Those days are over, Tim.
We all know that.
Thank God for that. I don't think any of the SEC coaches would be recruiting me for that point.
As the fans get a chuckle of our conversation here.
It's now 2nd and 15, under a minute before halftime. Handoff to Jawa. No gain on the play. It'll be 3rd down.
Well, the Pioneer defense has just been tremendous, just been excellent on the running plays, and they have done a good job.
Timeout by the Pioneer defense with 37 seconds left on this board. Tim, before going in at halftime here, one thing to look at is I think the weather is going to play a big part in the ball game. At least we won't be seeing too many passes as we've probably seen in the first 3 games for the Pioneers. Wixom in the conference alone has thrown 100 passes. His next competitor has only thrown 60. And for the most part, that's because the Pioneers have gotten behind early and they're forced to pass.
Exactly, but now they're tied with the Titans, and that gives Wixom and head coach George Christ ample opportunities to kind of examine different plays and things of that nature. Of course, we saw the reverse handoff from Fisher to Stager that worked pretty good, and then we saw the long bomb, and that was really unusual because we have not seen the Pioneers go to a long bomb early in the game, and it paid off for them.
For the prizes that have been donated.
It's now 3rd and 14, ball on the 20-yard line. Fossum and Kaufman, wideouts for the Titans as Miller hands it off to Rollins. Not too much picked up on the play as it's now 4th down for the Titans. As we're under 20 seconds here before halftime. Kenny Nice on the tackle. Way it looks, Oshkosh is just going to huddle up and sit on the ball and go into halftime with 7-7 tie with the Pioneers. As time is beginning to tick away, and at halftime, our score 7-7 between the Pioneers and the Titans and Student Appreciation Night here at Ralph E. Davis Stadium. Pioneers scoring first on a 39-yard touchdown pass from Wixom to Stager. And the Titans picking up their score in an Ed Ganuwick 1-yard run in the second quarter. With our scores tied at 7-7. Tim, two big things, especially from the Pioneers side, defense stopping the Titans on the goal line for running plays.
Well, Ganuwick that time was the Titans' meat and potatoes down when they got to the goal line first, and the Pioneer defense really doing a tremendous job stopping them 4 plays. And then, before that, Wixom with the excellent throw to Stager for the touchdown.
Okay, it's halftime here at Ralphie Davis Stadium with the Pioneers and Oshkosh Titans tied up at 7. We'll be back for the second half right after this. Carries. Individually, Ed Ganuwick picking up 59 yards on 20 carries for Oshkosh. 20 carries, Tim, in the first quarter, or in the first half. That's a lot of work for Ganuwick as Dave Fisher takes it on the left side and will only pick up a couple on the play.
Well, I don't think you're going to find much passing tonight because of the cold weather. And it is pretty cold, I tell you. Running across to the press box there at halftime. You have to go pretty fast to get warmed up, but it's a 7-7 tie. I expect Platteville possibly to go to the same game plan as they did to start off the game, run the ball and then throw a deep bomb, maybe to Stager.
I don't think, as you said, I don't think we're going to see too much passing as Miller was only 2 for 2, while Wixom only threw 6 passes and completing only 2 of them.
Rob Del Santo on the carry.
Now Del Santo with a beautiful run there, and he's doing a good job.
As we have a few Oshkosh fans here complimenting us with a cup of.
You know what we're missing tonight?
What are we
We're
missing?
missing the brat like last week.
As we got the piping hot Maxwell House cup of coffee here to keep us warm as temperatures dipping into the 20s. As Wixom back to pass, firing it long.
Ooh.
Intended for Rod Johnson as Wixom was hit to the ground by number 97, Chris Fry.
Well, Johnson was grilled cheese there between 59 and 32 for Oshkosh. As the Maxwell House, I guess, crunch of the night was there, right?
Sure hit the spot, let me tell you, with this cold weather here. Let me tell you, I thought I was in Green Bay or Chicago, one of those places, not Platteville. But Brian Cohen will be back to punt at the 13:39 mark of the third quarter. Low snap. Cohen gets it off. Squibbler off his foot. Almost hit number 59, Tom, with the back of the head. As number 56, Jeff Simon, touches it down, and Kurt Miller leading the Titan offense here in the second half.
Well, let's see if Miller can direct this Titan offense with Kujawa maybe and Granodic to get some offense going as we were mentioning the subtropic weather of Platteville being invaded by the Green Bay weather. Or Chicago, I might add. Not a Bear fan.
The Windy City as it's 1st and 10, ball on the 40. Ganuick on the first carry. Mark Lenhier stopping him at the line. Possible loss on the play. It looks like no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, Granodic at that time, same stuff as the first half, running up the gut, and it's not going to work against Kenny Nice because he just plays that as well as anyone in the WSUC.
Ganuick, as we said, 59 yards on 20 carries. Longest run, though, only 17 yards. So basically, he got 19 carries for about 32 yards. As Miller, nice play action, finds number 84, Kirk Leisner. Leisner takes it down all the way to the Pioneer 39-yard line. Nice play by Ron Cardo. Miller, as we said earlier, good play action passer. You know, fake the handoff, stop the linebackers in their tracks, and Leisner gets himself open in the flat. Miller finds him, and he picks up a big gain.
Beautiful play there by Miller, as you said. Good play action. Saw Leisner in the flat, caught him, and he was within 10 yards of any Pioneer defender. As we see Chris Kujawa now in no pads, and he is definitely out for the night. So it looks like Granodic is in for the run.
Nice play action as quick sack by number 52, John Witt. Witt, his second sack of the day. Big play. He went in untouched again. First time on the left side in the first half. This time on the right side.
Well, now the Pioneer sack when we reached 3 sacks on a night, and Miller that time was a dead duck. He had really no chance to get the ball off. He was lucky he didn't fumble the ball because Witt was just going in there like a train.
A train. That's
a train, I guess.
That's a beautiful term to be calling it, a train.
It ain't beautiful, I can tell you that much.
Loss of 7 on the play. It's 2nd and 17. Ball on the 48. Miller back to pass. Cuter on the rush. Ganuick, and it's stopped right away by Mark Lenhier. Great play by Lenhier. He sat back, was waiting for Ganuick to come out, but Ganuick decided to go back. He had a couple offensive linemen in front of him. Lenhier quickly up and hits Ganuick and stops him on the play.
Lenhier had to make that play because Ganuick, if he would have gotten past him, would have had 20, 30 yards of running room and possibly enough to go all the way for the touchdown. So that comes up with a 3rd down and 19. So Miller definitely will have to pass the ball here.
Pioneer defense fired up here in the second half. As Miller back to pass, rolling out to his right side, has some time, looking long, fires in short, and finds an open Kelly Rollins. And the way it looks, Rollins could have the first down and does. Big play, 3rd down situation for the Titans. Let me tell you, Miller had a lot of time as he rolled out to his right side.
Well, Miller that time, almost the same exact carbon copy play of about 2 plays ago when he hit Leisner. That time, rolled out, saw his receiver, nailed him, and the receiver kind of falling forward for 5 yards, got the first down. But that Miller shows a good quick wrist and good zip on the ball.
Miller is very quick. Once the snap comes, Miller's basically running back and getting set up. That gives him an extra half second or two to look as Miller tosses it off as he felt pressured by John Witt. A late flag on the play. Possible holding call against Oshkosh. Witt again breaking through. I don't know if he's getting picked up or the Pioneers defense is basically setting up and they're trying to blitz one of their linebackers.
Well, Witt, I've been watching him for the last 3 or 4 plays, and he's been blitzing on every play, or dogging, whatever you want to call it. And he's been blitzing every play as the flag is against Oshkosh. And it's going to drive him back. As it looks like a major penalty here, as it might have been a holding call against the Titans. But anyways, Witt has been blitzing on every play. And obviously he's been doing a good job because he almost registered the 4th sack there for the Pioneers.
It'll be 1st and 22, ball at the 46. We haven't seen too much of Scott Kaufman or Mike Rossum, neither of them catching a pass. Only Mark Reimer, reserve running back, and Ganuick catching a couple passes as Vanoy pressuring, and Mark Lynn here with a possible interception. Oh my God, Vanoy this time breaking through it. Are they finding some wide open gap, or is it just that the offensive line for the Titans aren't picking up which the Pioneer defenders?
Well, it's pretty hard that time because the entire linebacker core for the Pioneers blitzed that time. Vanoy almost tipped it to Lanier, and if Lanier would have caught it on the run, he would have been gone for 6. So Miller and company very fortunate to not get that pass intercepted. That's going to bring up a 2nd down and 22, and again, they're going to have to toss it in the air. This possibly could be a dump-off pass to Granatic.
Well, he has to get the snap off quick as close to delay of game, but Miller does, and he tosses it. Pass was intended for number 82, Scott Kaufman, but that time Miller feeling the pressure by that Pioneer defensive line.
I think we're seeing the baptismal performance here by Kurt Miller as he's getting pressure there by the Pioneers, and he hasn't been in a game situation, so he doesn't know, how to react to blitzes. And the Pioneers so far in this first series of downs for the Titans has really, blitzed Miller a lot.
It's now 3rd and 22, ball on the 46. Miller back to pass. Cuter coming in on his left side. He's taken out of the play as pass gets into number 94, Tom Vigot. And Vigot will be short of the 1st down. It'll be 4th down. And the way it looks, Oshkosh will be going for it.
Well, good play there by Miller. He saw the open wide receiver, and they're probably about, I'd say, 4 yards shy of the 1st down. Obviously, it's 4th down territory. They're going to go for it and look for maybe another pass play or possibly a running play now to Granatic as they've passed the ball here the last 3 or 4 times.
Well, the passes that have worked thus far for the Titans is the tight end out on the flat over on the right side, and that's where there's a lot of space as Fossum and Kaufman lined up on 4th down. As Miller gets it off and knocked away as number 50, Mark Lynn here in quickly, forcing Miller to toss the ball away. Great play. Pioneer defense holds the Titan offense again.
Well, Jeff Peter and Lynn here, and that's as good of a sack in that type of instance as it is to tackle the quarterback because you rush the quarterback, plus 4th down, Pioneers take over, and Oshkosh is looking pretty darn good there, going deep into Pioneer territory.
Well, pass was intended for Mike Fossum as Eric Wixom now quickly on the field for the Pioneers. Handoff goes to Stager. Stager up on the right side, still on his feet all the way out to the 40, close to the 40-yard line. Big play by Stager, and the way it looks, Pioneer running backs, I think, want to keep their feet moving the entire time because it's cold out here, and the only way to keep your body warm is moving, and Stager quickly out there, 1st down for the Pioneers.
Stager that time, same play as the 1st half. He had those 2 long runs, one of which was negated by a penalty, but that time Stager with a nice quick feet. Looked like Brian Dowling out there during the intramurals.
I was an offensive guard in high school, if you can believe that, Tim. As it's 1st and 10, ball on the 39. Handoff goes to Del Santo. Del Santo pushing his way possibly out to the 42-yard line. Pick up a 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Well, as we said, you're an offensive guard. You went through a pretty, I should say, subpar program, right?
Now, Del Santo slowly up on the play. I'm not going to comment on that, Tim, as our offensive line only averaged 160 pounds anyway, so. 2nd and 7, ball on the 42, 8:53 left in the third quarter. Score is deadlocked at 7 apiece between the Titans and the Pioneers. Wixom rolling out to his left side, tosses it off. Ooh, it literally hit as Russ Jakes was knocked by number 6, Nelson Thurman. I don't think,
Del Santo.
Del Santo was, the pass was intended for. I don't think he knew what hit him when Thurman came in there.
Well, that was almost the exact same play as we saw coming from the other side last week with little Joey Overnetter. He got popped pretty good. But that time, Del Santo and the ball and the defender, snap, crackle, pop. I mean, all at the same time.
3rd and 7 now. As Wixom back to pass. Looking long, fires it short, knocked away. Ball was knocked away by number 50, Chris Campshire. Great play by Campshire as it's 4th down for the Pioneers.
Hampshire that time, knocking the ball away from Wixom. He had some wide receivers out in the flat there. They would have caught it. Could have had a good chance for the first down, but Brian Cohn again will have to come out to punt. As I guess the Titans with their Iowa Hawkeyes uniform.
As Cohn's punt off. Gets a pretty decent kick. As number 87, Petri, picks up about 6 on the play. And Miller back in for the Titan offense. Tim, I think for the most part we're going to be seeing a very quick second half, or at least down to the last 2 minutes, especially for the most part, just because of the cold weather out here. Most of these guys, even though all week temperature's been in the 50s, at night it gets even colder, and we're in, right now, we're in the 20s.
Well, both teams have really gone, not pardon the pun, but ice cold in the driving the ball towards towards the end zone, but. Hopefully, ice cold. Hopefully the Pioneers will stop them.
Miller back to pass, lofts it out.
Ooh.
Pass was caught
What
by
a
number
catch.
94, Tom Vigot. Great catch by the big man. A lot of Vigot basically just all concentration on that play as Miller was being pressured again by 2 Pioneer defenders.
Vigot, as he's from Eagle, Wisconsin, soared like the big bird and caught it out of bounds. What a catch there.
Tim King, the Wizard of Words.
Here, the voice of Plasso speaks again.
At the 7:45 mark of the third quarter, Titan offensive line quickly up. It'll be 2nd and 6, ball on the 42. Handoff goes to Ganuik, and Ganuik picks up 1 on the play. It'll be 3rd down. Titans finally have a chance to run the ball, as in their last possession, a few penalties and a sack pushed them back, which put them in obvious pass situations. Now, Titans have a little bit of time to start working at the clock.
It's already down to 7:10 the third quarter here. 3rd and 6, and we've seen Miller go to that tight end for the first down. Let's see if he goes to the well again.
3rd and 6, ball on the 42. As Miller has some time, gets it off and hit on the play. Kelly Rollins, pass was intended for, but Randy Kleinhand there with the hit. Kleinhand, that was basically a timing pattern for Kleinhand. The ball was coming in, and he hit him right at the right time, hit Rollins right at the right time, knocked the ball loose before Rollins had any chance to even get a hold of it.
Rollins was dead on the spot as the Pioneer defender really knocked him. He wasn't going to go anywhere for the first down.
4th and 6, Rick Grable, the Titan safety, punts it away, gets a high one all the way out to Lee Phillips. Phillips taking it up on the right side, tripped up and knocked back. A pickup of maybe one, a little scuffling at the end between Phillips and one of the Titan defenders. And the Pioneers will start off from their own 20-yard line.
Well, let's see now if Wixom and company will pass the ball or stay conservative again like they've done the last couple of series. You know, ever since they've gone 7-0 or been tied 7-7, Brian, the Pioneers have gone back into a shell, back into running the ball. And we've talked about this before, about the conservative type offense, and hopefully the Pioneers will kind of break out of it.
Handoff goes to number 33, Tom Stager. Stager picking up 5 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 5. Well, one thing we've been seeing here tonight, Tim, is the ball hasn't even been getting into the 20, inside the 20-yard line. It's basically been playing in the middle of the field, and both defenses have just been stopping it before it gets any worse. Pioneer defense, of course, holding the Titan offense on a goal line stand as Stager takes the ball again.
Well, it's been basically a battle of the defenses between the hash marks, and so far it's a deadlock at 7 apiece. You know, sure, you can take a look at the total yardage thing, and the Pioneers got an edge on that, but the score is at 7-7. Both teams going conservative. The Pioneers scoring their only touchdown on a great play, passing play, but they have just gone away from that for some reason, and hopefully nobody's hurt or, something like that with the Pioneers.
Wixom rolling out to his left side, feeling the pressure, fires it off, and caught by 46, Dave Fisher. That's one play that has worked a couple times this year for the Pioneers, is finding Fisher, who goes rolling out and comes back into the middle, catching the pass.
Fisher is a good receiver for his size. You know, he's small, but he is really built together. And he was wide open out in the middle, and Wixom that time had to get the first down. He had to pass it, and he got it.
Handoff to Stager. Stager stopped at the line and knocked back. No gain on the play, led by number 50. Excuse me, that was Del Santo. Again, I'm getting the numbers screwed up. 3-1. They all look alike, especially in this weather. At least it's not foggy as it was last year, Tim.
Well, it is getting somewhat foggy up in the lights here at Pioneer Stadium, but obviously not as pea soupish like we had last year.
Pickup of 1, 2nd and 9, ball on the 39. Fisher in motion. Wixom running out to his right side. Stopped by number 41, Chris Kerwin. Kerwin was in there before Wixom had any time to even see, and pulls him down by the jersey for the loss.
Well, Kerwin, the linebacker, 6 foot from Council Bluffs, Iowa, was right in Wixom's face since the start of that play, and Kerwin just threw him down like a rag doll.
Loss of 8 on the play. It's now 3rd and 17. Ball on the 31. Obvious pass situation as Obenetter spread out on the left side. Stager in motion. Wixom handoff to Del Santo. Del Santo picks up 1 on the play. What do you think the reason for calling a run on a 3rd and 17?
Maybe they saw something in the defense Wixom did, call it audible or something. I have to question that play too, because in the previous set of downs they had passed it to Fisher for the first down, and they totally negate that and go back to the run.
Well, I suppose with a 7-7 tie, and there's still a quarter and 3 minutes to play, they didn't want to put that tie at risk. As Petri picks up the ball at the 45, out to the 48-yard line. As Kurt Miller in the Titan offense will take it again. Tim, again, we're just seeing the ball bounce between the 30 and the 30. And both offenses have been able to move the ball effectively in the 20. I mean, Pioneers scored their touchdown on a 38-yard pass, and they weren't even inside the 30-yard line.
Well, basically, it's been a game of field position. And that time you saw Brian Cohn, and that's where the punting comes in so good. Now that was kind of a shank by Cohn, and they got the ball at the 47-yard line. excellent field position for the Titans.
Handoff to Rollins, and Rollins gets himself all the way out to the opposite 47-yard line. A pickup of 6 on the play.
Rollins just shot through the hole there, made by number 71, John Vergromt from Cedarburg. And Vergromt made a hole there, and Rollins just shot through there like a cannon.
Well, I think this game just shows just how tough and how good both of these defenses are. Not taking away anything from the offenses, but defense has been the name of the game.
Exactly.
Now, 2nd and 5, ball on the 48. And Miller back to pass, looking long, tosses it out, and over the head of number 88, Ken Pedolfi.
Well, Pedalti that time, Saharsky had him covered like a white blanket, but, you know, that's where you miss a guy like Rob Netta. I mean, Rob Netta was all conference, all everything for the Oshkosh Titans last year, and with Miller back there, you got an inexperienced quarterback. My mouth, I guess, is freezing up, but good play there by Saharsky.
Now 3rd and 5, ball on the 48. 2:38 left in the 3rd quarter. Miller back to pass, feeling the pressure, tosses it off and over the head of Ganuick. Bruce Fege on the coverage. It's now 4th down. Right there it shows defensive line. I mean, Miller gets back there quickly, but he might have to sit for a little bit and wait for his receivers to get through their routes so they're able to get open.
Well, Miller, as you said, gets back. You know, he's a quick guy, but Kiefer was in his face right away. And that time, Grenetic was at the 1st down line, and if Miller's pass would have been on there, he would have had the 1st down.
Good kick by Grable, and the ball will go out of bounds at 17-yard line. Pioneers again will be stuck with some yardage to go, as they'll have to ramble 82 yards for a touchdown. But it just goes to show, I mean, the defense again, you know, stops the play, and Pioneers and Oshkosh are going to be struggling, especially since both of them have decided to scrap their air attacks, is basically just keep it on the ground.
Well, it just goes to show you that Grable that time, a good punter for these Titans, nailed the Pioneers deep in their territory. Let's see if the Oshkosh defense will hold the Pioneers.
Del Santo on the carry almost saw a breath of daylight. Picks up approximately 8 on the play.
Brought down by Brian Weber.
You know, both these defenses, Brian, as I interrupted you there, you know, their offense, they're looking at the runs, but again, I'd like to see some more passing. We saw Fisher open, and we see the touchdown by Steger. Why not go back to the pass?
That's something to look to, especially now as we're closing in under 2 minutes before the end of the 3rd. 2nd and 7, ball on the 20. As Wixom hands it off to Steger. Steger getting out almost to the 30-yard line, out at the 26.
As I guess our cameramen were faked out too. Steger with a nice run on the outside. Got some good yards. It's going to be 3rd down and 2 at the 26 for Platteville.
Big play for this offense. They have to be able to move the ball out of the hole as we take a look at the Titan offense being talked to by one of the Titan assistant coaches. 3rd and 2. Handoff goes to Del Santo. Close to the 1st down.
He's gonna be short of the 1st down. That means Brian Coleman's gonna have to come in the punt. Again, the conservative offense by Platteville, but give Oshkosh credit. They stopped the Pioneer running game.
As you said it, Tim, I mean, defense again holds the offense. That's what we've seen so far here in tonight's ball game. As Petri again deep for the Titans. Cohen's kick off. Pretty decent kick. He takes it at the 35. Petri nowhere to go. tackled by number 42, Phil Spendy.
Spendy that time getting Petrie down on the ground before he had a chance to return it for a long return.
First and 10 for the Titans from their own 42.
Cohen, for the most part, having a pretty good game punting for the Pioneers. Came in with a 31-yard average after tonight's ball game. I think he'll raise that a few percentage points. Now first and 10, ball on the 42 for Kurt Miller. Pitch and fumbled.
I think Oshkosh got it back.
Rollins. Kenny Nice there on the play. That time, Miller just tossed it back and looked like Rollins had his knee up by where his hands were and just fumbled the ball.
I didn't think he anticipated the ball. I think he anticipated Miller to go back to a drop back pass. And luckily for Oshkosh, Rollins got back on the ball because Jeff Peter was right there on the spot.
It'll be 2nd and 11.
Loss of 1 on the play. It's now 2nd and 11. Miller on the long couch, hands off to Ganuick, flags on the play. Ganuick all the way out, past the 50, down to the 45. He's down to the 40 and knocked out of bounds at the 35, but I think they'll be calling that back with a illegal motion play on the Titans.
Well, the flag was thrown too quick for a holding. Really had to been a procedure call or possibly offsides against Plathville in the neutral zone. Let's see what's up.
Penalty called against the Pioneers, and of course I think Oshkosh will decline the call. Ganuick.
That must have been the case of the Pioneers being offsides in the neutral zone. First down for Oshkosh, and in a game like this where both defenses are controlling the action, a couple of mental mistakes, and that could mean the ball game.
Ganuick, though, picking up a big chunk of yardage on the play. All the way down to the 35-yard line, 1st and 10. As Miller hands off to Rollins. Rollins stops right away, but he falls forward for the yard. Todd Karts, first Pioneer to get him, grab around his legs. Pioneer's pretty good at stunting, and it's worked for the most part.
Karts that time, stopping the running back before he gets the momentum. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and again 10 yards. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter.
Deadlocked at 7 apiece between the Titans and the Pioneers as they'll be changing ends. Tim, this 3rd quarter, another quick quarter. We haven't been delayed too much, basically because when you're talking sub-freezing weather here at Ralphie Davis Stadium, guys in that basically want to keep the game moving as much as possible. But for the most part, it's just been a defensive ball game from the standpoint of both defenses have been forcing each other to punt.
Well, they've been working, as you said, between the hash marks here. And both teams have sort of just tossed out their passing game. And, you know, I keep on saying this, but I have a gut feeling that one of these teams is going to go to the pass, and it's going to be wide open. As if you were with us on TV5 during the Whitewater game, it's about the same type of thing, you know, long bomb.
2nd and 10, ball on the 35. Miller back to pass, rolling out to his right side. Len here showing pressure, tosses it long. Sikarsky there, great play by Eric Sikarsky, knocked the ball away.
Sikarsky with a beautiful play there to knock the ball away because number 2, Mike Fossum, was wide open and could have been a TD right there with Shaharsky, who, admittedly enough, has been getting picked on in the season so far by quarterbacks, Bogads, along with Gatos last week, and now Miller did an excellent job there.
Also, Karski's been playing a pretty decent ball game. As few passes as we've seen thrown his way, Karski has been there with a great tip, knocking away the ensuing touchdown. As it's 3rd and 10, Miller, play action pass, feeling pressure, gets it off by Greg Franzen, and the flag goes down that time Franzen was trying to time it right as the pass was intended for Tim Weigott. And Franzen there just a little bit too early.
So Weigott in the ball, and Franzen got there just a little bit early, but Franzen really laid a shot on him. It's going to be a 1st and 10 for Oshkosh.
I think I'll put a skirt on you and put you down on the sideline to be a cheerleader. You'll be real good.
I mean, that type of play for Franzen was, it was a timing play. It worked a couple times for the Pioneers earlier where they timed the pass and timed their hits and basically broke up the whole pass. That time, Franzen there just a half second early. That's just more of a physical error because he was coming up and the coverage was good on the play.
Now Oshkosh deep in Pioneer territory at the 25. You might see Granadic get the bulk of the carries here.
As it's 1st and 10. Ball on the 25. As we'll have a legal motion by Ganuik, and he knows it. That'll knock them back 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 15.
It's either that, or they were looking at Mike Benoit, the Pioneers, but as you said, I believe it is against the Titans, and it is. And that's another one of those mental mistakes that just head coaches like Ron Cardle and George Chris hate to see in every game. I mean, it's the 4th game, and you figure the teams are into the season that they should be, having those type of mistakes because it could cost them a game.
Especially now since we haven't seen too many threats to score. Oshkosh now backed up to their 30-yard line, 1st and 15. As Miller, play action pass, has some time, fires it out. Ooh. Tipped up by Max Sikorsky. Again, Sikorsky on the play, and 2 great defensive stops by Sikorsky, knocking both passes away.
Shaharski doing a beautiful job as Folsom now, who's been the man for Oshkosh on the wide receiver, is just done a good job of getting over, but Shaharski that time getting to the ball.
It'll be now 2nd and 15. Ball on the 30-yard line. I don't want to say an obvious pass situation as the way things have gone for Kurt Miller. Miller back to pass, hands off to Ganuik. Ganuik has some space open on the right side. He gets it all the way down to the 20-yard line, a pickup of 10. Nice call. Titans did it again on the draw play.
We haven't seen Granadic in probably 10 plays or so get the ball. He did a good job there. Close to the 1st down, but it's going to be 3rd down and call it 5 yards, make it the 3rd down, I believe, or it's 3rd down, right?
3rd down.
Yeah, okay.
As we have an injured Titan on the field, it looks like it could be a cramp again.
Injured player is number 34.
Or possibly knee.
Ganuik.
As Ganuik is the injured Titan there, that could hurt, especially with Kajawa, who is still not full 100% recovered from his injury.
And he's not available in this game because Kujawa does have his uniform off.
The way it looks like Ganuik just has a slight cramp or possibly his left knee, but he's up. That's not a good sign for the Titans having him carried off, but by the look of his legs, he seems to be walking pretty well. But it's still 3rd and 6 for the Titans. This puts them in, of course, obvious pass situation, but they are in field goal range, Tim, but I don't know if you want to try it, especially with this cold weather here. Because then you have to get the good snap. The holder has to have warm hands, and that kicker's foot better be ready to boot it.
But they do have an outstanding place kicker in Peterson. So that could be an option since they've had 4th downs here before and they haven't been able to cash in on them.
As Ganuik is carried down to the Titan bench, looks like his left knee is hurting. As it's 3rd and 6, ball on the 21. As number 23, Mike Hibbeling on the carry.
Mike Heideling stopped by Mark Lundhair.
Mark Wen here on the play for the Pioneers as the defense stops them. And as we're going to see, a big kick now for the Titans as Matt Peterson will be attempting the 39-yard field goal for Oshkosh.
This is a big play of the game. This could be the game right here.
And kick is up. And it's no good.
A line drive kick, and that might have been caused by the placement of the ball at the far hash mark because he had to kick it across the field. He had distance. But the Pioneer defense, again, stops the Titans.
From their own 25.
That's right, Tim. The defense again holding them. Oshkosh hoping to tack on 3 points on the board. Come away with nothing. Still tied at 7-7. I don't care what you say, Tim. It's cold outside, but let me tell you, it's hot on the field. As Wixom taking it out to his right side. All the way out, back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
Wixom was in trouble there, and he decided to bootleg it to the nearest side and got back to the line of scrimmage.
El Ganuik still sitting on the bench for the Titans, helmet off and all. As Chris Kajawa is running off the field. I know it's cold out here, Tim, and he's not wearing, he has his jacket in his hand, but he's running towards the Titan.
Now, is it possible for him to get his uniform back on? Or?
Possibly could, as Wixom now looking, finds a wide open and caught by number 13, Russ Jakes, and a late hit by number 14 of the Titans. Oh, big play of Wixom having some time back there, finds Russ Jakes over the middle. Jakes covered by 3 Titan defenders, and number 14, Jim Catalano, on the late hit. That, you know, I don't know if Catalano intended to hurt Jakes. I don't think so, but it was a late hit nonetheless. That'll knock it 15 yards more. That play ends up being approximately 30-yard pickup with the pass and the penalty. And the Pioneers now in great chance, great scoring position to possibly put it in as a touchdown, but I think they want to wear some time off the clock first, as it's 12:32, and I'm not letting you talk if I know I'm being windy out here. As Stager on the reverse, he's on the right side, all the way out to the 35-yard line, and the Ralphie Davis Stadium crowd beginning to erupt, momentum going towards the Pioneers. Tim, take it away now.
What can I say? What can I say? Beautiful run there by Steger. I think it's been an hour since the last play, since you've been talking so long, Brian. But the Pioneers all of a sudden have a fire underneath them, and they're doing a good job here on offense.
1st and 10, ball on the 35. Blitz by the Titans as Steger taking on the right side. He's down to the 30, still on his feet all the way down to the 26-yard line. Momentum going towards the Pioneers' way. Tackle made by Schumacher.
Well, Steger, ever since he's come to Platteville from Darlington High School, Darlington, of course, is an awesome high school program for a small school in the state. They've always had some tremendous running backs. And Steger, when he first came here, when he first came here, has always had the promise of taking over for a guy like Dave Shumway. You see his running ability right there.
Now 2nd and 2.
Ball carried by Rob Del Santo.
And Del Santo with the carry. And Del Santo close to the first down. And he's short by a yard. It'll be 3rd and 1. Ball on the 25 as the clock keeps rolling as we're coming to the 11-minute mark of the 4th quarter. Big play for the Pioneers. Stager and motion. Wixom, quarterback sneak. And by the looks of it, Wixom picked up the first down. That worked a couple times last week with the quarterback sneak with Wixom.
Wixom has got that 6'2" build, and he just leaned over there, got the first down. And as we saw Peterson attempt the extra point, or the field goal from the right hash mark, of course, he's a right guy, a right-footed guy, and he had to kick it across. Now, with Waugh for Platteville being the lefty, And if they're staying on this hash mark here, he's going to have, for a lefty, that's a weird type of kick. So they might be neglecting the kick possibility.
As Sager taking up the right side. He's down to the 29-yard line. I'll pick up of about 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 6.
I tell you what, Brian, Tom Stager wants this football game. He's running hard, and he's taken over for Gwinnett as being the leading ground gainers in this game. And I tell you, Stager is running like he did in Darlington.
Well, Ganuik is singing the blues as he's the only person on the Titan bench. Everyone basically huddling together to keep warm, and Ganuik right now doesn't look like he'll be back in when the Titan offense gets back on the field. Timeout called by Wixom. A little confusion there for the Pioneer offense.
Smart timeout there by Wixom. He doesn't want to make a mistake here. Deep in Titan territory at 9:59. The next score could be the game for the Pioneers, as we still have not seen Chris Kujawa come out from the locker room. Maybe he was cold.
Well, one thing we haven't seen, and this is the first time the Pioneer offense has been inside the 30-yard line. They're in great position to score. I don't think you want to go with you don't want to attempt a WA field goal with this cold weather. Ball doesn't get up high enough, and WA has been slightly inaccurate this year, only getting 2 of 7 despite setting a new Pioneer record with a 41-yard field goal last week.
Well, as I said again, the hash mark could be the key to this, because lefties more than righties tend to hook the ball. So you might want to have, if they're going to try for the field goal on the far side, but I don't know if George Chris wants to put all of his eggs in the basket. As we see Chris Kujawa come out of the locker room with his pads on.
I don't know if he's the new Superman for the Titans, but when you see your top running back Ganuik going down and Kujawa, as you said, Tim, as the shovel pass goes to Stager, and Stager tripped up at the 30-yard line. As you were saying, Tim, Kujawa had the shoulder pads off, and that just shows you. That just shows you that that Kujawa just has a lot of guts, and doesn't want to let his team down, especially when you're this close of a ball game, being 7-7.
Well, I really have to question that play by head coach George Chris, because that could have been very dangerous. I mean, the defensive guy could have intercepted the ball, ran all the way for the touchdown, but luckily for the Pioneers, it was just an incomplete pass.
Big third down play, 3rd and 7. Wixom rolling out to his left side, has an opening, he's running it, gets it down all the way to the 15-yard line. He'll be short of the first down. Now it's basically
conference time for head coach George Chris, as we see Wah talking with Chris. It's going to be, 4th down and 2, and they're taking some long time here. They're going to have to hurry up here, as they're going to go for it here.
Going for it. Big play now for the Pioneers. 4th and 2, ball on the 15. Pioneers have to do this. They have to get the first down right here, as they have a standing ovation for the offense. Handoff goes to Stager up the right side. He's got a first down all the way down to the 10. He fumbles the ball, and the ball is knocked out of bounds.
There will be Pioneer football.
There will be Pioneer football. Holy cow, Tim, I can't believe it. Stager had the first down, giving himself the second effort down to the 10-yard line. Fumbles the ball, but with the help of a few Titan defenders, knocks it out of bounds at the 2-yard line.
But they're going to say, Brian, that when he fumbled the ball, that he fumbled it when he was first hit, which I do not agree with, because his knees weren't down.
Well, we're having a conference by the referees. Well, Tim, you remember last week the big questionable call, which ended up giving the Eagles the victory on a blocked field goal by the Eagles. John Lauscher picked up the ball but fumbled it forward. His teammates got him on, picked it up, ran it the rest of the way for the touchdown. Not much of a conference for that one, and gave the touchdown to the Eagles. This time, they're spotting the ball, as you said, where Stager fumbled it.
But his knees weren't down, and that's where the question is, and that's where head coach George Chris. But it's a first down.
1st and 7. Fisher in motion. Handoff goes to Stager. He stopped at the line by number 93, Chris Botford.
Brought down by Carver.
Well, Steger that time got the ball. He was met by a host of Titans. It's going to be second down and goal for the Pioneers as Rundy comes in. Jakes will go out. Let's see if a passing play comes here. Maybe a little dump pass in the end zone.
Second and goal, ball at the 7. No gain on the play. Wixom handing off to Stager. Stager on the right side. He's down to the 5, down to the 4, down to the 3, and he's down at the 2.
What a run there by Stager. He just blew through that line and did a heck of a job. It's going to be third down and goal at the 2. And let's see if Stager gets the ball again. Power football here for the Pioneers as double tight ends coming. Fisher will head to the Pines here for the Pioneers.
Pioneer offense just knocking on the door, and they want to let them in. Third down. Big play, 3rd and 2. Crowd is on their feet. Hand off to Stager.
No, he hasn't gotten in. His knee went down beforehand, so it's going to be 4th down. Del Santo got the ball. 4th down now. It's George Chris. Are you going to go for it? Or are you going to kick the field goal?
Tough call, especially now since both teams, it's been a defensive battle. I think you just have to go for the touchdown. The offense has been pounding and pounding on the run. They're going to break through.
Now we see a mirror effect with the Pioneers stopped Oshkosh at the same spot in the first half on the other side. Now we have to see if Platteville can punch it in here.
They're on their feet here at Ralphie Davis Stadium. 4th and 1. The snap. Handoff to Stager. Jumping in. Touchdown! Tom Stager. They go to the right side all game long. Give it to him again. He jumps over the Titan defender for the TD. Big, big play against the Titan defense.
Stager that time had to use a couple of jumping moves to get into the end zone. What a play there. It's Waugh now with the huge extra point. Big extra point, probably the biggest of his career so far as a collegiate for the Pioneers.
Well, he's only a freshman, as Waugh will be attempting the kick. Snap must be good by number 59, Tom Witt. Snap is down, and Waugh with the extra point. No good. That leaves the Titans in a good position to go down, march down the field for a touchdown, and with an extra point would put them ahead. But first, they have to get through that tough Pioneer defense, which has been doing it all game, stopping them at the right time. As Matt Sikorsky will be kicking it off for the Pioneers. Back deep will be number 2, Mike Fossum.
Well, we're going to see whether or not the Superman, Chris Kujawa, comes in, and he came in from the locker room. We'll see if Kujawa and the rest of the Titan offense will come back for Oshkosh.
As Sikorsky with the kickoff, boots it, a straight liner that bounces down to the 3-yard line and out of bounds. I think the Titans will ask for that ball to be re-kicked. Sikorsky will have to kick now from the 30-yard line. Nope, the Oshkosh will take the penalty and will start from their own 35-yard line.
That's a crucial mistake there by Waugh to kick it out of bounds. They have it at the 35, and we'll see now if Oshkosh can take control. As the total optimist here, Brian Dowd.
Defense will hold again. Has come through, will come through. Handoff goes to Rollins, and Jeff Cuter and Kenny Nice there to kiss him goodbye right at the line of scrimmage.
Questionable call here by Ron Cardle to just run the ball. And, you know, we've said every game, Pioneer defense does excellent against the run. Why not pass the ball?
Stevens Point, as we hear from the loudspeaker, Stevens Point ahead of Whitewater 16-7 with 3 minutes left in the game. Another loss for Whitewater would put them in deep trouble in the WSUC, but right now Pioneers ahead of Oshkosh 13-7 as Miller back to pass, feeling the pressure, is going long, side throw short, caught by number 94, Tim Vigot. They go to Vigot again, all in the flat, as you said, Tim.
Like Vigot wide open at the 50, and Keeter was on Miller's heels there. As you said, Whitewater, Bob Brunswick has to be scratching his head because getting beat by Superior, and then they have to go to Stevens Point, who basically has been playing all their games so far in Kansas, and the Pointers doing a good job.
1st and 10, ball on the 39. Tim, we don't see Chris Kajawa in the backfield. They're sticking with Rollins and Reimer. And play action pass. Miller gets it out. Intended for Vigot again, but Kleinhand's there on the play.
Kleinhand's good play there, keeping Vigot under control as Miller got pressure again from Lanier, and along with the rest of the Pioneer defense, as we see Kujawa on the sidelines.
Is he going to be their secret weapon, a little small package ready to open up? As it's 2nd and 10, ball on the 49. 5:12 left in the ball game with Pioneers up by 6. Miller back to pass, rolling out now to his left side. Cuter on his butt as the pass is thrown out. Sikarsky knocks it away again. Great play by Matt Sikarsky.
Great play there by Sikarsky, and as well as the wide receiver Huffman, as he knocked it away from Sikarsky. But still, Keeter with almost another sack on Miller. It's going to be 3rd down and 10. A huge play here by the Pioneer defense.
Well, Kaufman has been silent all game long. Him and Fossum haven't even caught a pass. Both of them combining coming into this game for 11 catches and 179 yards and 3 touchdowns. Haven't even caught a pass yet. Big play, 3rd and 10 on the 49. Miller back to pass quickly. Throwing it over the head of Kaufman. That time, Miller wasn't even pressured and tossed it over Kaufman's head. Sikarsky on the coverage. It's 4th down, Tim.
Well, as you said, the Pioneers hold. And that time, Miller, the inexperience showed right there. He didn't know where Kaufman was going to go. He threw it over his head. They're going to have to punt the ball. Pioneers can effectively eat the clock away here with the run. And as we see the fog coming ever so slowly down to the field.
Grable with the punt, almost blocked by Karch. Phillips will take it now. Slips, still on his feet. He breaks through, gets himself about 7 yards, out to the 22-yard line. 23 by one of our pseudo-directors, John Dival. As Wixom now will take the Pioneer offense, as you said, Tim, hopefully to just basically run the ball and slowly grab 1st downs and just wear down that clock, holding their 13-7 lead.
Big series of downs here for the offense for the Pioneers. And one-time Steger, I believe he would get most of the calls.
Big thing, no mistakes, no fumbles on this. Handoff goes to Del Santo, who rolls his way out over the 25, up to possibly the 26-yard line, a pickup of 3.
Well, here you come to an impasse in the game. You don't want to have, you want to eat the clock away, but you don't want to be too conservative where, you just forget about the pass, because the pass is a big weapon down here. Maybe catch Oshkosh in the man-to-man and throw one deep.
Three-yard pickup on the play. It's now 2nd and 7. Handoff goes to Stager. Stager now on the right side. Gets hit and knocked down to the ground at the 29. It'll be 3rd and 3.
Brought down by Botsford.
As Botsford again on the tackle for the Titans.
3rd down and 7, and are we going to see a pass here from Wixom? Or possibly A run here by Stager. Del Santo as Wixom looking over to the sidelines as little Joey Obernetter comes in the real small package here for the Pioneers.
Well, the Pioneer receiver is basically dead silent except for a couple catches by Russ Jakes, especially the one that led to their second score of the ball game. 3rd and 4, ball on the 29. Wixom hands out to Fisher inside to Stager. Stager rolling his way. Flag on the play as Stager was short of the first down. Holding called against the Pioneers. Titans defense will decline. This gives Kurt Miller and Titan offense a little time to work with 3:21 still left on the clock.
Now, do you take the penalty and make a 3rd down and what, 14, 15, or you make them boot it away? Because if you take the penalty and they're going to decline it, so they're going to get the ball back and they're going to make Brian Cohn kick the ball, and the Titans know that Cohn, besides the first real punt, good punt in the first half, he's been struggling all year round, and you know he might be able to shank one of these.
Well, Petrie lining up on his own 38-yard line could put the Titans in good position. High snap. Cohn's kick is off a squabbler again. He'll pick it up and go to the ground at the 46-yard line. Not a good punt by Cohn. And the Titan offense is in good position, especially with 3:05 left on the clock.
So let's see if Miller and company will again try to pass it, or they can't obviously go for the field goal, but that missed extra point by Wah looms ever so big now. But again, let's see if the defense holds the Titans.
They'll do it again. I know it. I have faith as Ganuik sitting on the sidelines. Looks like he'll be done for the rest of the game as Miller's back to pass, has some time, throws it open, and finds, oh my Lord, number 23, Mike Hibelink, had the ball in his hands. I think he was looking to scamper 50-some-odd yards for the touchdown. He didn't even get the ball in his hands.
Hibelink had yardage to run, man. If he would have caught that ball, he would have gone a long ways. Luckily for the Pioneers, he dropped it.
I don't want to say it was blamed on the cold, but he didn't have any warm gloves on or any hand warmers to keep them nice and soft. As it's now 2nd and 10, ball on the 46. Miller back to pass, rolling out to his right side. He's looking long, and he tosses it that way, knocked away by Lee Phillips. And no flag on the play. It was questionable that Phillips possibly jumping over at the back of number 88, Ken Podolfi, but no flag on the play. Now 3rd down, big 3rd down situation for the Titans.
I think the Pioneers got a break there. Phillips was all over Pandorfi's back. That should have been a flag on the Pioneers. Would have been 1st and 10 inside the 30, but luckily for the Pioneers, it wasn't called. It's going to be 3rd down and 10, a huge play here for both teams. Let's see if the Pioneer defense can suck it up another play here.
3rd and 10, ball on the 46, 2:53 left in the game. Miller back to pass, has some time, tosses it over to Rollins. Rollins gets down to the 48-yard line. He'll be short of the first down. Excuse me, Hibelink on the catch. As Mike Vanoy on the tackle.
They're going to go for it, 4th down and 4. You can't chance the punt and then hopefully your defense can stop them. But both teams, Oshkosh with all 3 timeouts left, this is kind of a surprise. I think they could be making a big mistake here.
It's Student Appreciation Night here at Ralphie Davis Stadium. Standing ovation by the students as they'll be able to appreciate this series as it's 4th and 4, and Miller back to pass, throwing it over the head of Rollins. The defense holds again.
Miller again overthrowing his wide receivers. That could be because of inexperienced play on the offense, but nonetheless, the Pioneer defense again holding the Titans. A very questionable set of calls there for head coach Ron Carlo of Oshkosh.
Well, I think this goes to show you that in the first half, and even for the most part for the 3rd quarter, they didn't mind having Miller calling the shots. But now, here in the 4th quarter, with the game on the line, now, of course, they wish the Proctor was back calling the plays.
And now, here's where the 3 timeouts are so valuable for Oshkosh.
As Del Santo carries it for the Pioneers. Timeout called by the Titans.
This is where you save your timeouts. No matter if it's on offense or defense towards the end of the game, you got to have your timeouts here to stop the clock. It's going to be second down and call it 8. So now with 2 minutes and 1 second left, you don't obviously have the 2-minute timeout like you do in the pros. So it's going to be a huge importance here for the Pioneers to gain 8 yards on these next 2 plays.
Well, first of all, with the Titans losing to Proctor for today's game, not playing at all, and then having their lead running back, Chris Gajawa, injured at not playing that much, not 100%, him sitting out for most of the game, then having your starting running back, Ed Ganuwick, getting injured in the third quarter and having to sit out, and Chris Gajawa having to put his pads back on just in case that the Titan offense will be deplenished of running backs. This puts them in a tough situation. I mean, they come in undefeated, and now with these rash of injuries, have now made things very difficult for them as the Pioneers looking to get their first WSUC victory of 1991. As the handoff goes to Sager on the right side, Sager on his feet all the way down to the 48-yard line. Quick timeout by the Titan defense. That's the last, excuse me, no. They'll have one timeout left with 1:55 left in this ball game.
Well, you know, George Chris has all his marbles in the defense's bag, and they're going to put all their, plays for the defense here as Oshkosh. All they have to do is stop Platteville again. It's going to be 3rd down and 7. Let's see what the offensive calls here for Platteville, because if they don't get here, Brian Cohen's going to have to punt.
Well, looking over at the Titans sidelines, I was checking out center Bob Zarnecki doing a little shotgun formation with Kurt Miller. Looks like they're going to be going for the shotgun with their last possession if the Pioneers do not make the first down, as it is 3rd and 7, ball on the 48.
Who's going to get the ball here? Is it going to be Stagger, Del Santo, maybe a bootlegger by Wixom?
I think they're going to go to Rod Johnson over the middle.
As I've called for previous plays.
It's worked for them. 3rd and 7. Ball on the 48. 1:55 left in the ball game. Big play for the Pioneers. As Wixom rolling out to his left side. He has a lot of space in front of him. He's got the first. Slides his way down to the 35-yard line. Flag on the play. That could take that back.
Is it going to be holding on the offensive line, maybe defensive backs, or holding on the offensive wide receivers?
As we wait for the call.
It's going to be against Platteville nonetheless. And I believe it's on number 65 for Platteville, which would be Pat Murphy again. If it's on him, he's been called for another crucial offensive holding before.
It's very difficult. I mean, Wixom, great call on the play by Chris. From Wixom rolling out to his left side, looking past, deciding to run, had a lot of space in front of him, gets the first down and more on the play, but a holding call.
Well, I thought it was going to be on Oshkosh, but
as the referees are calling off the flag.
That's very, very... Coach Ron Carlo is not happy at all, and the referee is down here to explain it to him. But, obviously we'd like to see the Pioneers win the game, but if you're going to throw the flag, you have to call something. And it wasn't as if it was, fighting on both teams, so they'd wipe out the flag. But some of the Oshkosh fans very mad about the call.
1st and 10 for the Pioneers.
As the referees did wave off the penalty flag, 1st and 10, ball on the 37. This gives Pioneer offense some time to wear off the clock.
Got to hold on to the ball, though. The defenders will be trying to strip that ball away. Can't have a mental mistake here.
As Wixom Talking over with Del Santo. Handoff goes to Stager on the right side again. Stager on his feet and stopped and knocked back. And we're having a flag on the play. Stager knocked down to the 38-yard line with a loss of 1.
And Rick Grable, a flag on the play.
And we have a holding call called against the Pioneers. All this does, Tim, not just the sake of moving the Pioneers, say, back 10 yards, but it
stops the clock.
You got it. Because there's 1:18 left in the ball game. This gives the Titans. They still have one timeout left, but it stops the clock for them and possibly gives them new life as it's now 2nd and 8.
Well, plus the Pioneers are running the ball up the middle, which means, you know,
2nd and 8.
They don't have a chance of running out of bounds to stop the clock. So this is a huge set of offensive players for the Pioneers.
As it's 2nd and 8, ball on the 35, clock is ticking down to the 1 minute mark. Wixom trying to kill most of that time. Handoff goes to Del Santo. Del Santo is stopped and knocked back on his back. And we have a timeout. Last timeout made by the Titan defense.
Well, the Titans obviously are looking for the run. And wouldn't it be something here to complete a pass on 3rd down?
Well, with no timeouts left.
And it's kind of a risky move, but as it is right now, if the Titans stop the Pioneers, you figure it's going to be probably 35 seconds, 30 seconds left in the game. Cone comes in the punt. The Titans will maybe have 3 plays at the most to attempt, quick plays to attempt the comeback, so it's going to be tough.
Well, with 3rd and 8, and the Titans using their last timeout, they run one play. Say they become short of the 1st down.
I'd like to see a pass here by the Pioneers. I'd like to see them a little safety valve, maybe to the tight end, maybe a bootleg here by Wixom. I'd like to see a pass.
I don't think you're going to see a pass just because they haven't thrown that many all game, and when you throw a pass, it's riskier than keeping it on the ground. And the thing is, if they don't get the 1st down, Titans can't stop the clock. You can let the clock roll all the way down to possibly at least the 10-second mark.
But then again, you don't want to have a run back.
As Wixom slips and falls at the 40-yard line, and the clock keeps on ticking. It's now 4th down.
Now, if I was head coach George Chris, I'd let Wixom still stay in the ball game because if they take the full 30 seconds, it's going to be, what, 4 or 5 seconds left in the game, and it's going to be one Hail Mary pass for Miller and company. So a good play here by Wixom and Chris to let them stay in the game.
As the clock's ticking down on Student Appreciation Night here at Ralph B. Davis Stadium, the Pioneers with the 6-point lead. And Pioneers will take the delay of game and set up. It'll be 4th and 18.
Delay of game on the Pioneers.
Pioneers wanted to wear off as much time as possible.
Well, the game is over unless you have a Joe Prosarchik type incident where the quarterback fumbles the ball and the defensive guy runs it in for the touchdown, but this one's in the bag, you might say, I feel.
The way it looks, Pioneers will rack out their first WSUC victory in 1991 with a 13-7 win over the Oshkosh Titans. Titans coming in here undefeated in the year, 3-0 overall, 2-0 in the conference. This one's going to hurt big time.
It is going to hurt, but give the fact, obviously, that DePactor didn't play, might have been different, but you got to play with what you have, you might say. Good game for the Pioneers again. The defense wins the game for the Pioneers. Wixom still, besides the touchdown play, still off kilter, you might say. But this Oshkosh team well improved defensively than the year ago after the Pioneers and Oshkosh had quite a shootout last year. If I can get the score here, it was 31-21 last year at Titan Stadium. And Oshkosh will have to regroup. Of course, Kujawa will have to get healthy. The Pioneers next week head up to River Falls, and a very tough game up there. And last time Plapo was up at River Falls, they got kicked.
let's put it this way, the Pioneers came into tonight's ball game, the second-ranked rushing defense in the conference, going up against River Falls. River Falls likes to run the ball a lot. As the referees are waiting for it, there was 4 seconds on the clock, and there should be 5. I don't know if you want to dilly-dally over a second, but a big ball game like this, anything can happen, of course. Got to play it fair, but it'll be 4th and 18 for the Pioneers, and it's a great ball game for them. But the thing is, as you were saying about Wixom not having a great ball game, both teams, though, very good defenses out there stopping the run, and also this cold weather basically stopping the pass, because why take a chance on throwing a brick of some sort and one of the defensive players coming up with the interception, as Stager on the run stopped before the 50.
Well, one more play. It's going to mean a Hail Mary here and now that secondary is going to have to just basically play in the outfield here, knock anything down, but do not interfere. That's all it is. And if you interfere, probably within the 30-yard line, Peterson is a good kicker here for the Titans.
But a field goal won't do it, Tim. Pioneers coming in with 6 defensive backs sitting back, as Miller in the shotgun formation passes back. Miller looking long, fires it up there, not long enough. Intercepted, incomplete on the play, and the Pioneers come away with their first victory in the WSUC, a 13-7 win on Student Appreciation Night over the Oshkosh Titans. Tim, recap.
Big game here for the Pioneer defense. They hold the explosive Oshkosh offense in check here. Good defensive series of downs here in this game for the Pioneers. Big WSCC victory going up north to River Falls. A key game next week. If they can beat River Falls at River Falls, even though the Falcons are struggling, it would mean a shot in the arm. But I tell you, the Pioneers, a well-deserved victory here for Oshkosh. They have to regroup. And hopefully for them, they get their quarterback Greg DePoctor back. However, Miller did not play a bad game. And the Pioneers, Brian, well-deserved W here on Student Appreciation.
Well, let's recap just the scoring for tonight's ball game. 39-yard pass from Wixom to Stager in the first quarter, putting the Pioneers ahead 7-0. In the second quarter, Ed Granuick comes away with a 2-yard touchdown run, making the game 7-7 at halftime until the fourth quarter, when the Pioneers with the possession, pass completed for 16 yards to Russ Jakes, and also on that play was a late hit, which made it a 30-yard play. Pioneers marched it all the way down to the 2-yard line, where Tom Stager on 4th down jumps over a couple of Titan defenders to go in with the score. Missed extra point by Jason Waugh, made the score 13-7. Pioneer defense did it again, stopping a goal line stand in the first half, playing very well in the second half, not allowing the Titans to score. As we leave Ralphie Davis Stadium on Student Appreciation Night, the Platteville Pioneers coming away with a 6-point victory, 13-7 over the Oshkosh Titans, which came in here undefeated at 3-0, and now we'll have a 3-1 record, 2-1 in the conference, and the Pioneers now are 2-2 on the year, 1-2 in the WSUC. For Tim King, I'm Brian Dallin, as we saying good night from Ralphie Davis Stadium with the Pioneers victory 13-7.